This week on Skeeter Bass Champs, it's the best of the last 20 years. That's right, we're going to take a look back starting at 2002 at the beginning of Bass Champs television. We'll take a look at the best of times and the worst of times, all on Bass Champs TV, and it starts right now.
Welcome to another edition of the Skeeter Bass Champs television show. I'm John McCalmont, and this is our best of 2014. One of my favorite episodes because we get to relive all of the best moments from this past season and seasons prior to this. You know, we've been doing this now going on 14 years, so a lot of Bass Champs history in the books. Last year it was all about the kids. This year it's all about fighting adversity to be a champion. If you've watched this season, you know that we followed the Angler of the Year race in each division, and each one had a unique story. Not only that, each one of our tournaments had unique challenges throughout the year. We're going to look at all of those challenges that the anglers faced, not only to win big prizes and big money, but also big bragging rights in Angler of the Year points and also in winning tournaments and trucks and you name it. This Bass Champs is all about fighting adversity and becoming a champion. Mental toughness and mental strength. It's a sport, bass fishing, and we're going to cover it right here on the Skeeter Bass Champs Tournament Best of 2014. Hold on.
Come on, big boy. There we go. Good job.
In 1997, Chad Potts and Jeff Welch created the Bass Champs Tournament Organization, hosting amateur fishing events throughout the state of Texas. And when Skeeter Boats came aboard as the title sponsor, Bass Champs became the largest team tournament circuit in the nation, boasting the richest guaranteed payback in grassroots competition. So if you love bass fishing and you want to have a great time competing in the biggest team tournaments and big fish competitions, it's time to join us at Bass Champs.
It's the best of 2014. It's hard to believe that we've been doing this for close to 14 years, isn't it?
Well, it's gone by fast.
And in that 14 years, we have seen a lot of winners and a lot of champions. And of course, we talked about featuring our Anglers of the Year this season and seeing them overcome adversity. But there was a lot of adverse conditions this year at the Ford Megabass event.
Man, it was brutal conditions. It was the opposite of what a good tournament is.
It was the opposite of ideal fishing conditions. But you know what that means is a lot of guys decided not to fish it. So for the guys who did fish it, it was less competition. They fought through the rain and the cold temperatures, and 7 guys took home 7 brand new trucks.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that when you have a guaranteed payback like that, we're going to give it away. So the guys that will brave the weather are going to come out, and you're right, 7 of them were really happy.
Let's relive some of those moments. And the 7 guys that won 4 trucks that fought through the rain and the cold and the mud and the wind and all of the adverse conditions, they went home happy campers.
Yes, they did.
Over 1,600 anglers braved the elements on Lake Fork, and 7 of them took home a brand new Ford F-150. Our number 2 winner, Dwayne Thomas, topped them all, and he took home a brand new Skeeter ZX200 behind his new Ford truck.
So you go home with a brand new Ford truck and a brand new Skeeter bass boat. Tell us once again how you caught that fish.
Fishing a Main Lake Point on a Texas rig.
Main Lake Point, Texas rig, brings in that big bass that holds up for the overall biggest thing you've ever won fishing?
Yes, sir, it is.
How does it feel?
Words can't describe.
Those guys at the Ford Megabass event fought through rain, wind, and cold, and 7 guys went home with 7 trucks, not to mention the 15 places paid back each hour.
I'll tell you what, it was amazing. That was terrible weather.
It was terrible weather.
I'll tell you what, the people that won, the anglers that won, they deserved it.
They deserved it big time. Another guy deserved it big time that overcame a lot of adversity was our winner of the Berkeley Big Bass event. You remember Randy Hooker?
Oh, how can you forget the water heater man?
The water heater, his water heater busted, flooded the entire house on Saturday, couldn't make the Saturday tournament. He came up to you and he said, hey, I couldn't fish Saturday. Can I still fish Sunday? And you said,
definitely. We have registration Sunday morning, and I couldn't believe he was there.
He was there, and not only did he fish the tournament, he used his favorite Berkeley bait, and he won a brand new Skeeter bass boat. Now, I tell you, when he went home, his wife was happy.
Yeah, hey, he could afford a new water heater.
Let's relive that moment.
All right, Randy Hooker, Nevada, Texas. He does have an over. It has been measured. It is legal. You, my friend, all you need is 717, and you got it. 858.
So you go from a disaster at your house to one of the best days of your life.
It is absolutely one of the best days of my life. I don't know how many of these tournaments I've fished, but it's just amazing to come out here and catch something over the slot. Just to be able to do that is an accomplishment, and I couldn't ask for better.
Well, you did get better because not only was it an over and an accomplishment, but it came with a brand new Skeeter bass boat.
Yes, it did.
We've got more of the 2014 Best of Bass Champs coming up. It's all about fighting adversity and becoming a champion. Kind of like we're doing today. It's so windy, I'm having to use a handheld mic so you can hear me through the wind noise. It's kind of like I'm in a hurricane. Not really. It's just really windy. Hey, we've got more Bass Champs coming up. Hold on.
Skeeter Bass Champs with Fishburne is brought to you by Skeeter. Eat, sleep, fish. Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. Power Pole. Swift, silent, secure. Techron. Expect more. James Wood Motors. Visit our family at James Wood in Decatur.
Welcome back to the Best of 2014 Bass Champs. Hard to imagine we've been doing this for so long.
Hey, it's been a long time, but it's been a good ride.
It's been a great ride, and the one thing that has really been an overwhelming theme throughout the years is overcoming adversity, knowing when to change up your patterns, and the guys that won our Anglers of the Year in the Southern Division knew when to do that at Lake Falcon, didn't they?
They did. You know, they went into the bullseye. They knew where they were headed was going to be crowded. They went to the dam. No secret.
Yep.
They put their blinders on, and it paid off.
And they caught one big bass that put them over the top and gave them the Angler of the Year bragging rights, plus to be featured in our Red River show. Let's relive that moment.
Yeah, I think so. Can't keep up with them though. Yeah, that's a good one. You got that net, he's coming in fast.
You can ski him up to the top, I'll scoop it. Oh, yeah, baby.
Perfect day, perfect execution. You guys didn't lose any fish. That's what it takes to be Angler of the Year.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty much been our whole season. I mean, we lost a few, but none that would help us. And fishing a lot of crankbaits, I think we got real lucky not to lose.
Well, they can say they're lucky. I'm going to say that it's all skill, because to get to this particular position, to get the Angler of the Year title, it's a huge feat, isn't it?
Definitely. It feels really good.
You know, it takes a lot of luck, but a lot of determination and a lot of overcoming adversity to win that Angler of the Year title. And of course, Corey Rambo and Rusty Clark, they are sticks in the East, aren't they?
Yeah, they're always tough. They won Angler of the Year back-to-back, so they know how to get it done.
They know how to get it done, and of course, we followed them in our Angler of the Year race this year. We had to overcome a little adversity. We had one of our cameramen had a family emergency. I had to jump in the boat. I got to film them all day. We got to see them go from deep to shallow to deep to catch the fish they needed for that Angler of the Year title, and they did a great job.
Yeah, and it's amazing after hooking you in the back of the head that they could stay with it, but they did.
Seems like I forgot that he hooked me in the back of the head. Let's relive that moment.
Megan, get him up, because man, that's thick right here.
Yeah, you guys made a couple of key decisions. You know, you had your deep bite going on early this morning. You guys had a couple of key fish off of that, and then all of a sudden it seemed to shut off. What made you decide to go shallow at that point?
The biggest part of the shallow deal this morning is when we were running across the water, and you seen them as well as I did, there's mayflies everywhere. And they just always get shallow, when the mayfly hatch goes on. So we had to try it, and we went up there and started getting bit and got our limit. And then when it shut off, we knew we needed to make a move, and why not go where we caught the other 4-pounder? So went over there and got another one.
So I understand, throughout the day, you're really trying to maximize your bite. But what's with hooking the cameraman?
I mean, it should have paid a little bit more attention.
Now, when the swim jig hit the cameraman's head, and you can see it's right about there, When the swim jig hit his head, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
It might have been a bite.
I love it when we get to follow father and son teams. Dustin and Johnny Grice were up for Angler of the Year in the Central Division. We had a camera with them and we were following them, and I can guarantee you they would have bet big money that they lost the Angler of the Year race because they had a horrible day on the water. But ounces always count, and they had the ounces and the determination to catch whatever they could to win that Angler of the Year title. Let's revisit that moment.
This one might be better, I can't tell. Yeah, he is. He's a keeper. All right, here he comes. Good job. Good job.
We watched you guys, really go finesse, go with the drop shot rig. You were at that point, you were just trying to get a couple of fish in the boat.
I just broke out the 6-pound line and went to 25 foot of water and started looking for them on my graph. When I'd see one, we'd drop down there and catch them. So.
You guys came in, you were for sure, hey, we've lost this angle of the year race.
We thought we gave it away because we really thought we'd need to get 8-9 pounds to, wrap it up. But, it worked in our way, so can't complain about that one bit. We're glad we had the 2 now.
Speaking of a heated Angler of the Year race, it's always really tight in the North Division, isn't it?
It always is. A bunch of great anglers.
Bunch of great anglers, and of course we were in the boat with Stan and JD. Those guys always big sticks in the North, but they lost a couple of key bites, didn't they?
It's amazing how just a few bites can erase what it was, just an incredible season.
Yeah, and of course it opened the door for 2 young guys to make a stand and catch that Angler of the Year title and be featured in our Red River tournament. Let's relive those lost fish.
Yeah, JD. Foot side. Gosh, dang it. 3-pounder, wasn't it? It's bad. You can't be losing those kind of fish on a day like today. Gosh, dang it. That fish boiling out there, it's got my crankbait in its mouth.
Well, guys, you caught fish throughout the day, but they just weren't the fish you guys were looking for, were they?
No, not really, John. Congratulations to those guys who did a good job today. I mean, that's well deserved because this lake fish really, really small today.
And that's one of the reasons why the Angler of the Year title is such a coveted title, why it has such big bragging rights associated with it, because it's not an easy thing to do, is it?
No, it's very tough. You're fishing against some of the best anglers, probably in the state and maybe even the nation in here. And there's people that put a lot of time on this practice, They just don't come out here and fish on tournament day. I mean, they spend a lot of time. We spend a lot of time out here, and it's what it takes to get here, and you just got to put yourself in position to have this chance.
With Stan and JD and the other top 2 teams leaving the door open, Lee Levisay and Chad Bailey eagerly stepped into the top spot, claiming their first AOY title.
More Best of 2014 Bass Champs is on the way. We've got a lot of fun stuff and a lot of guys overcoming adversity. Don't go anywhere. We're celebrating the Best of 2014 Bass Champs, talking about what it takes to be a champion. And 2 guys that know that are Elshout and Price. In their region, in the East, they scored really high in the points. What that means is when they went to the championship on day 1, they had an early number. They were boat number 4. When they went out, they had an early morning bite, and they were in contention on day 2 to win that brand new Skeeter FX bass boat. Well, on day 2, they had a late number because the field got reversed, so they were one of the last boats out. And that played in their favor because they caught a big kicker fish right at the end of the day that gave them the ounces they need to win that brand new Skeeter FX bass boat. Let's relive that moment.
That will definitely help. Moving on up.
And of course, you guys were one of the last boats out. You were in the last flight. Gave you a little bit of extra fishing time on the water today. Did that play into your factor to win this event?
It definitely helped us win it because we caught our best fish about 3:15. Mark did. So
wow. So if you'd have been in first flight, you wouldn't have been out there fishing for that.
You're right.
And that coal actually coaled you guys up that .23 that you needed to take home the victory.
Yeah, it did. It was our best one today, and it was one that put us over.
We've talked about consistency, we've talked about perseverance, we've talked about what it takes to be a championship, but one thing we haven't talked about is a little luck. Robert Cooksey, in the final hour of the Ford Megbass event, told me a story that I couldn't believe. It was his good luck charm.
Robert Cooksey from Henry, Arkansas. Good fish, 262.
Well, it's our final hour of the Ford Megbass event. Robert wins it with a 262. Robert, a 262. Wins you a brand new Ford truck.
I can't believe it. I can't even find the words to explain this.
Now, you told me that you said something to your wife about winning a Ford truck this weekend. What was that?
I was working and I found a 4-leaf clover, and I told her, I said, I feel lucky. And I said, I think I'm gonna win a truck this weekend. And God's willing, I won it. I don't know how, but I did.
I know how. You went out there and caught a 262.
It's still unbelievable that a under could win a truck in one of these tournaments.
You know, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
It's got to be.
You know, Chad, in any sport, you have to have a never give up attitude, don't you?
You pretty much do if you're ever going to win anything.
If you're ever going to win and if you're ever going to be a championship, you can't quit. And Chad, 12 years ago in our very first President's Fish-Off, on that dam right over there where that little tree is, did not give up. And in the final moments, you caught a beautiful fish.
Yeah, it was one of those deals where I knew eventually I would catch one, and I just kind of stuck with it. And then finally, with that's why they say never quit till till it's over. I mean, you just
never quit till it's over, and it won him the first President's Fish-Off. Let's relive that moment.
That was fun.
The first annual President's Fish-Off appeared to be a blowout for Jeff. He had a limit, while Chad had struggled all day without putting a keeper in the boat. With only minutes left until the weigh-in, the bite turned on for Chad in a big way.
A little better fish here.
This is a good fish. This is a real good fish. Like 8 or 9, 10 pounds. I can never get it to calm down. How about that one?
Oh my gosh, the hook just like fell out of his mouth as soon as I got him in here. That, my friends, is a fish.
Chad added 2 more small keepers as he fished his way to the weigh-in, and he shocked everyone by taking the first annual President's Fish-Off by 2 pounds.
You know, we've talked about the adverse conditions in the Ford Mega Bass event and all the guys that won all the trucks, but we only talked about the champion, really. What we didn't mention is the other 6 guys who won Ford trucks. Let's see those guys right now.
Holy moly, 277.
Chris Sinke brought in a 277 to the scales in the first hour of the Ford Mega Bass event, and he drove home in a brand new Ford F-150.
951.
Hour number 3 saw Archie Haley claim a brand new Ford F-150 when he brought in a beautiful 951 to the scales.
Oh, look at this, 257.
James Burrow's 257 outlasted all the other unders weighed in during hour number 4 and earned him the keys to a brand new Ford F-150.
905.
Richard Carroll brought this 905 to the scales in hour number 5, and he took home a brand new Ford truck.
838, but still a heck of a fish. Hold that fish out.
Hour number 6 saw Gary Jackson take home a brand new F-150 when he weighed in an 838.
262.
And in the final hour, Robert Cooksey brought in his 4-leaf clover and a 262 under to the scales, and he took home the event's final Ford truck. Congratulations to all of the Ford Mega Bass hourly winners who braved the elements to take home brand new Ford F-150s.
When the Skeeter Bass Champs television show returns, we're going to switch gear to the kids. Hey, kids, they're champions too, and they fight through adversity. More coming up. Hold on.
Skeeter Bass Champs with Fishburne is brought to you by Skeeter. Eat, sleep, fish. Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. Power Pole. Swift, silent, secure. Techron. Expect more. James Wood Motors. Visit our family at
Welcome back to the Best of 2014 Bass Champs. And you know, kids are the future of our sport, aren't they?
No question about it.
And what do we do at Bass Champs to make sure that those kids have an opportunity to experience the sport of fishing?
I'll tell you what, we pay their entry fee. We pay their half of the entry fee. Come with an adult, 16 or under, we pay it.
We pay your entry fee. All you have to do is fish an adult. It doesn't even have to be your mom or dad. It can be a neighbor or friend. And if you're 16 or under, you get to fish for free.
No question about it.
That is a great way to get into the sport. And speaking of kids, you know, they win boats.
Hey, Skeeter Owners Tournament, how about that?
How about that? Here's one kid that won a bass boat. How cool is that?
Here comes the young man, Garrett Redding. Garrett, so good to have you. How are you?
I'm good.
You're catching fish every hour. Go to the scale. Watch this. Ladies and gentlemen. 294.
Garrett Redding, 14 years old, taking home the Skeeter bass boat. How did you catch that big fish?
I just threw it out there and got it. Got lucky.
Got lucky?
Yeah. Just
no skill involved whatsoever.
Kind of.
Kind of, because there was a good cast. You got the fish in the boat, which is a feat within itself. Did anybody net it for you? Just throw it right in?
Oh, my dad did.
What are your plans for the boat?
Take it out and ride in it.
Take it out and ride in it. You gonna fish out of it?
Yes, sir.
That has got to be an awesome feeling, you know? Brand new boat, 14 years old. Now you just got to get old enough to get a truck to haul the thing around, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, we talk about overcoming every obstacle possible to be a champion in a tournament. And earlier this year, you heard that I got hooked in the head with a 1-ounce swim bait. Well, you know, fishing can be a dangerous sport. And here's one kid that literally got hooked in the head by his dad. Did he give up? No. They fished all day. He got to participate in the flipping contest later in the day. Not only does he win our special Perseverance prize, but he won something in the flipping contest. That's a kid who's going to be a champion.
It happened like first thing in the morning. My dad was throwing a jerk bait, and I was right behind him, and he just threw it, and it hit me. I had a hoodie on, went through my hoodie, and went into my head, and I pulled my hoodie back, and I didn't think it was in my head, but pulled it back, and it pulled my skin, so I figured it was in there, so we cut the hoodie off around my neck first, and then started trimming around the hoodie and left it in there all day. Cut the pin off the lure, so it's just the lure right there instead of the whole lure and everything else. So,
as you can see, Jeff Welch is counting up how many he's won versus Chad, but you've all seen it by now, so you know that Chad is our President's Cup winner this year. These two guys work together all year long. They've got to be good sports, and you know they're going to have a lot of fun. I know you're going to come out gunning.
Who's going to have fun here?